These are the test corrections for Chapter 12, test for version B. Version B. Number 1 says factor completely. To factor completely, I have my A value is 1, B value is -4, C is 5. So I'm going to use the X box method. I'm going to take my A times C goes on the top of the box. And then your B value is -4. So I need to think of two numbers that multiply to be 5, or that equal A times C. And then those same two numbers need to add to be -4. There are no two numbers. That's why I crossed off that one. I made a mistake, and the answer is prime. For question number 2, factor completely, same thing. It's already in standard form in descending order. I have x to the squared x, and then x to the 0. That's how you know it's in descending order. So my coefficients are 2, b is -3, c is -12, a times c is -24, and my b value is -3. Here to generate some ideas, I wrote out all the factors of 24 to help me if I can find two values that multiply to be -24 and those that will add to be 3. I noticed that when I subtract all these values, none of them equal to 3, so I can't use any values. The answer is prime. For question number 3, it says multiple choice. This one asks me to solve. In order to solve, I have to set it equal to what number, class? You have to set it equal to 0. And this one, I have to add 40 to both sides. When I do that, here now it's in standard form. So the very beginning is not in standard form. Now it is. Then I can use my X box method. A times C is 40. My B value is 41. Two numbers that multiply to be 40 are 40 times 1. And those same two numbers add to be 41. Now, because it is an A value that's equal to 1, I don't have to use the box. I can take 40 and 1, put it into my binomials. Here I have intercept form, or factored form. Essentially now I just use the zero product rule. Set each of those equals number to 0 and solve the equation. You get -40 and -1. Another way to double check is that because I think these are the two answers, you can take something like -40. You can put it in here and put it in there. So 1600 times, I don't know, 1640, -1640 will equal to be -40. Okay? Question number 4. I need to factor if possible. I have x squared minus 4x plus 4. My a value is 1, b is -4, c is +4. A times c is 4. My b value is -4. Two numbers that multiply to be a +4 are -2 and -2. And these two values add to be a -4. You take these two numbers and put them into your binomials. Notice how you have this as choice C, but when it says factor if possible, you're really simplifying to its most factored form, and that would be, you have two of these, so that would be x minus 2 squared. So E would be incorrect, A is the best one. Question number 5 says complete the table here. This was the common mistake here. Let's just say you take -3 and you put -3 into where the x is. It's not opposite of -3. So I'm showing you the most common mistake. This is probably 1 out of every 2 students. A lot of students put the -3 here and they thought the opposite of -3 is a +3 and they squared it. So they got 9 plus 4 is 13. Okay, that's incorrect. Order of operations says when you do your substitution, your x value is -3, then it says parentheses, and then it says exponents. So -3 squared is a +9, and its opposite of that is -9. -9 plus 4 gives me a -5. For this one over here, after filling out all these values, this is a scoring rubric. You got 4 points if you had all 7 of them correct and 0 wrong. You got 3 points if you had 6, 5, or 4 of them correct, or 1, 2, and 3 wrong. 2 points if you had at least 1, 2, or 3 correct. And you got 1 point for 0 correct. And they're all wrong. 5B, complete the first differences and the second differences on the table to the left. So remember, you're going down. So negative 5 to 0 means negative 5 plus 5 will equal 0. How do you go from 0 to 3? That's 0 plus 3 to get to that 3. How do you go from 4 to 3? You need to go 4 plus a negative 1, or 4 minus 1 gives you a 3. So here's my first differences. Notice how there is no same number there. There's nothing in common. Then you go to the second differences, and here you do the same thing. You are subtracting 2. So if your table was correct, you got 2 points. If you'd done the first common difference correctly, or one of them is correct, I give you 1 out of 2. For question 5C, using the table. So you actually have to look at your values. Does the table represent a quadratic function? Explain. So using, does it represent? So that's a yes or no question, and then the explanation was another point. Yes, it is. The table represents a quadratic function because it has a second common difference of negative 2. If you told me that it was quadratic because it has the power of 2, then I gave you 1 out of 2 points. Alright, question number 6. This is in standard form. Give you 2 points for that. Then I asked you to identify the coefficients, A, B, and C. This is 1, this is positive 4, this is negative 36. A value tells you it opens up. Your last value, which that should be a C right there, that was your y-intercept. I gave you 2 points if they're all correct. I may have given you 1 point for at least getting 1 correct. The next thing it says to find the axis of symmetry. To find the axis of symmetry in standard form, you need to use x equals negative b over 2a. So if you wrote down the formula there, I give you 1 point out of 2. Then you just take your values and put it in. So your b value is 4, a value is 1. 4 divided by 2 is a positive 2, and the opposite is negative 2. Your axis of symmetry, where you fold the parabola, is negative 2. For 6D, it says, what is the vertex? Well, the vertex is you just take your x value here. Notice how it says negative 2. You just put in for your x value, negative 2. That means for every x value, you're going to put it in negative 2. F of negative 2, so I get negative 2 squared is positive 4. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8, minus 36. I'm just using order of operations there. 4 minus 8 is negative 4. And negative 4 minus 36 is negative 40. Negative 2, negative 40 is your vertex. To sketch and label the graph, it says use sketch and label. Sketch means draw it, and then label it means put it on the picture, the information you found in 6B, C, and D. So here's my graph. X equals negative 2 is my line of symmetry, our axis of symmetry. We know in A it opens up. Your C value is negative 36, so that's my y-intercept, and there is my vertex. Here's the scoring rubric for that. Complete the table using your graph above. Show where is it all real numbers. Domain means left to right, so you have an arrow going this direction. As I go, the last thing is another arrow, so that's negative infinity to positive infinity. Range refers going from the bottom to the top, so notice how there's no graph down here, but I start there at negative 40. It's negative 40 on the y-axis, so I should say y values are greater than negative 40, or negative 40 to going up. Last thing is positive infinity. Here's a scoring rubric for that problem. It was out of 4 points. Next page. This is intercept form. You know it's an intercept form because you have the parentheses. They also call that factored form. From there, all you have to do is do the zero product rule. When you do the zero product rule, you can get, I did zero product rule down here. You set each of these equal to 0, you'll get negative 3 and positive 7. From negative 3 and positive 7, essentially what you're doing is you're finding the midpoint. Not that graph, this graph. So you have midpoint of negative 3 and positive 7. If you add those two together, you get positive 4, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. That's your midpoint there. So 2 becomes your axis of symmetry. And what you do with x equals 2, then you put it in for every x value. There it is. 2 plus 3 is 5. 2 minus 7 is negative 5. 5 times negative 5 is negative 25. And opposite of that is a positive 25. So 225 becomes your vertex. These are your zeros, or your x-intercepts. So your graph's going to look like this. Negative 3 is my x-intercept, 7, axis of symmetry, and your vertex. Notice here my vertex is 225. Alright, last page. This one is vertex form. You notice in vertex form because you have something to the power of 2 inside the parentheses, so x plus 3 squared plus 4. Remember here, this is where you're identifying your a, h, and k. So if you just write your formula right below it, remember this has to be a negative, so that's a minus 3. A value is positive 1, so you know it's going to open up. Your h value there is negative 3. And your k value is the constant, which is 4. So when it says what is your axis of symmetry, it's just your h value, just negative 3. What is your vertex? It's the hk, which is negative 3, positive 4. This graph is pretty simple. Negative 3, 4 opens up from your a value, and you just have your axis of symmetry. On this problem, I'm going to ask where is it increasing. So increasing means from left to right, where is it going up? So here is it. This is called increasing here. This is negative 3 on the x-axis, so it's negative 3 to positive infinity. Where is it going down from left to right? It's here to there. So this is negative infinity from the left side, and we stop there at negative 3. So those are the two there. The extra credit questions were your 5 learning capacities, which we just presented on the project.